The fear that you experience public speaking is really no different physiologically than the fear I might face going into combat. We're going to talk about fear. When I go on stage to do stand-up comedy, I experience the same level of anxiety and fear. My hands are shaking. I lose my palms sweat. My brain's in the clouds. I pace back and forth. When the other comedian's going on, I'm backstage and I pace. I am as nervous before I go on stage as I am before I jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Think about that. Think about what could happen to me when I jump out of an airplane. I'm 200 pounds. I'm a pretty heavy lawn dart. And I experience when I'm at the door of the aircraft, I am very well aware of what I could face when I jump out of that plane. And yet, I experience the same level of nerves and anxiety before I go on stage. But yet, what's going to happen to me if I go on stage and I bomb? Absolutely nothing, right? So what is it about fear? Fear makes us think, I'm not capable. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. Dinosaurs exist. Think about these people as they come around the corner. Think about the fear they're facing and the illogical thoughts that are going through their heads. If you ever wondered about the power of fear and what it can do to your brain, ask that person as they're walking around the corner. If dinosaurs exist, they would say no. They come around that corner, they see a dinosaur, they take off running. Why? Because fear does insane things to the brain. It makes us throw away all logic. It makes me feel like before I go on stage to do stand-up comedy that I'm experiencing the same level of anxiety that I am when I jump out of a plane. It doesn't make any sense, but it's what the brain does when we experience that level of anxiety and that level of fear. By the way, nobody should be doing this, especially that guy in the wheelchair, and this poor guy lost his lunch. But what fear does, it causes procrastination, excuse-making, right? Feelings of self-doubt. So let's talk a little bit about, so we don't just accept it and go, oh, well, okay, thanks, good speech, John. Thank you very much for letting us know that fear is going to cause us to have these irrational, illogical thoughts. It's not that we just accept fear, nor is it that we try and become fearless. I thought that when I became a Navy SEAL that I would learn to be fearless. I couldn't have been more wrong. There's power in the words we choose, and the word fearless suggests the absence of fear. There is no such thing as the absence of fear. There is only what you do to control that fear. I thought that I would be fearless, and what I came to learn is that it's not the absence of fear that I'll ever find. It's only the ability to control my emotions and my actions, no matter the circumstance that set me apart from my enemies or from the enemy within. This is me. I'm inside the plane. This is the helmet cam of the guy that I'm jumping out with. Every time before I jump, I have a ritual. And it's part of what I go through because my brain is going, why are we doing this again? Why am I putting my life in the hands of what's really a glorified bed sheet attached to some strings, which, when you put it that way, really makes me question my own decision making. But when I jump out of that plane, and we jump out at 12,500 feet, roughly just a little over 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles up. When I get to the door of the aircraft, every single time I have a ritual I go through. That's me. Anybody catch it? Anybody catch what I do? It's very subtle. But I do it because my brain is trying to get my head around the fact that I'm purposely jettisoning myself from what is otherwise a perfectly good airplane. To the best of my knowledge, the pilots The pilot's still alive and still functioning. The plane is still functioning. We're still flying forward. We still have loft. And yet every time before I jump out of that plane, I do a little ritual. I look over at the guy that I'm jumping with to make sure, are we really doing this? And just before I jump, I look over, and I know he's outside the plane already. Like, if there was ever body language that suggested that he's committed, it's the guy who's already outside the plane. Like, come on, doofus, we're going. But before I go out, I do a quick glance, like, you sure you don't want to come back in? Because this doesn't make any sense. The fear in my brain is telling me this doesn't make any sense to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. And it's not that I'm fearless. It's what we do in the face of that fear that defines us, that makes us better leaders, that makes us successful in life. It's what we do in the face of that fear that will take you from St. Augustine to great heights in the rest of your days.